sit on a throne of lies. Just kidding. Keep this in mind, brought to you by SpechtHealth.com. I'm David A. Specht. One of the biggest lies told to many people for years has been, it takes 21 days to form a habit. And it's a lie. It's a straight up lie from the pit of hell. This is why. Depending on the type of habit will determine the length of time it takes to form it. And that habits are not as intentional as you would think. In fact, habits are often the result of stimulus. Something happens, it triggers you, you go into a loop, and that loop brings some sort of reward. If you don't believe me, read the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. So, if you're wanting to form a good habit, now these are the tools that you need to do. Because in my life, and I think my life's a lot like your life, it never feels completely formed when it's good for you. But when it's bad for you, you can slip right into it like that. Let me give you an example. As many of you know, I lost 120 pounds back in 2018, and I've kept it off for the most part for the last 5 years. What do you mean for the most part? I mean, I'm within 10 pounds of that final weight, and I've been there. So over 5 years, having leaned into structure and leaned into coaching and leaned into a process and a program, you would think that I would have developed a healthy habit lifestyle. And you would be right to a certain degree. Because you see, there are some old habits that are right there in the back waiting for the trigger. And sometimes that trigger is an event. Sometimes that trigger is an emotion. Sometimes that trigger is just relationship. So 5 years down the road, I'll give you an example, went to a Chinese buffet for the first time in probably 4 years, maybe 5 years. At that buffet, the trigger of not enough, the trigger of I want to try it all, the trigger of here's my plate, look at all the stuff. Oh, one here, one there, one there. Next thing you know, you have a plate like this. You would think 5 years down the road that I would have said, oh no, I'll just have the vegetables over here, the meat over here, a little bit of a salad over here. No, because I developed the habit of overeating over a long period of time. And I reinforced it year after year after year, meal after meal after meal. And that trigger of going into a Chinese buffet, because I had always had the goal of making them lose money on me. The trigger was, ooh, here we are, let's do it again. So you can see that bad habit slipped right back in. Real easy. Now, a good habit, like my morning walks. I did a short video this morning about how when you can do it without thinking, it's become a habit. Can I tell you that I go to bed every night dreading the fact that I have to walk the next morning? Do you know that I walk 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, and I look forward to Saturday morning because I don't have to walk, and I go to bed on Sunday night dreading the fact that I have to walk on Monday? So even though that I've developed a habit, and when the alarm goes off, the trigger hits, I hit the loop of putting my shoes on, putting my clothes on, and heading out the door. The loop works, but can I tell you that I still have to be intentional about engaging the habit, that it's not some sort of miraculous thing that, oh, all of a sudden I'm going to enjoy this, or, oh, all of a sudden it's just going to be second nature. And when it's second nature, that's just who I am. Those are all lies. Well, David, this is pretty negative. No, it's not. Here's why. You get to choose. You get to choose. You get to recognize your triggers. And you get to choose, hey, am I going to put myself in a position where I will be triggered? How am I going to react when triggered? What is the loop that I'm going to do? Whether I like it or not, I can still form a habit of those things that I don't necessarily like. i.e., walking. I don't like walking, I don't like exercise, but I am forming a habit that when the trigger, the alarm hits, the loop starts. Now, on the bad side, if you recognize a trigger and you're not strong enough to make the wisest choice, i.e., Chinese food, then you need to keep yourself away from the triggers. For me, it will be no buffets. Can I handle Chinese takeout? Maybe. Can I, how close to the edge do I really want to get? Wouldn't it be better for me to prepare a Chinese style meal of the things that I know are good for me, as opposed to going into a situation where the trigger will hit the loop and the loop will hit the habit and the habit will not take me towards where I want to go? You see, there are tools that we have available to us, and we can develop a habit that will help us. But at the end of the day, it's a choice. It's our choice. It's your choice. It's my choice. And we get to choose what situations we're going to put ourselves into. We're going to choose what loops are we going to create if triggered. And we get to choose whether or not we will allow those triggers in our life. So before you embark on your next 21 days to form a habit, recognize that any habit you form will be the result of your decisions. And when you make the right decisions, when you put yourself in the right situations, when you develop the right habits and realize your triggers, you can create lifelong success and create the habits that you want to create, not necessarily the things that are affecting you from the outside. God bless.